True Sports episode 78 with myself and Lewis is on the air. The final NFL preseason week is is already occurring. Um, the Lions beat the Panthers 26 to 17. Teddy Bridgewater played at least somewhat better. Threw a touchdown pass, 178 passing yards. See, he was working with reserves in week 2 against the Jaguars.
Yes.
It was very difficult for them to communicate to get along with him. They're young. They were probably going to be cut afterwards anyway.
Probably.
So Teddy Bridgewater is still the Lions' backup quarterback behind Jared Goff.
Mm.
How about your end?
Yeah. Well, what we got here is a failure to communicate. First of all, oh boy, just a little joke. But I was concentrating on the Jets and Giants this evening, and the Jets look pretty reasonable. They hadn't really the Giants, try to make a game of it late. But even Aaron Rodgers was impressive. He scored a preseason touchdown. So the Jets may look legit this year as they finish 2-2 in the preseason. Like I said, I wasn't too concerned about the losses in the preseason after all because it doesn't really mean much. But maybe Rodgers can bring some good offense to the Jets here. So I think the AFC East is going to be a very interesting division this year.
All right,
Mm.
we'll see what happens. Come the second week of September. Lions
Yes.
take on the defending Super Bowl champion Chiefs. That's
Mm.
I think September 7th at Arrowhead Stadium, 8:20 on
Thursday night
NBC.
game.
Thursday night football. Yes, exactly.
And thanks to a little
So
modern technology, I'm able to view it.
awesome, good. So
Yeah.
the Major League Baseball postseason race is heating up.
For some teams, yes, but for other teams, no. I mean, it's looking a little dismal right now for the Yankees. They're now 61 and now 67 after losing today, so that puts a damper on that. I mean, they had their worst losing streak in over 40 years when they lost 10 in a row, and that was back in the days that I remember. And actually, they were one loss away from losing their worst losing streak in over 100 years. So that's pretty embarrassing. And the Mets are falling off a cliff as well. I mean, they haven't done much either. I mean, they're like 11 games below 500 now. After such promise from last season, hoping they're going to build on it, forget it. Not a chance. They only beat Atlanta, one game out of the 3 games last week. If they would have swept them, maybe there would have been a chance, although that wasn't really likely to happen. Atlanta's just too good, and the Mets just don't seem to have, the hitting they did last year. Plus, you lost your 2 best players to a trade, you know, with Verlander as well. So, when that happened, I think the Mets just lost all focus on that, and that's where they are right now.
All right, yeah. So yeah, the Yankees are declining. The Mets, yeah, they're pretty bad as
Ah,
well. Yeah, and still they don't have
yeah,
a closing pitcher.
and that's what
So
hurts.
yeah, Parker Meadows for the Tigers hit his first major league home run, drove in his first 3 Major League Baseball runs, batted in
Huh.
on a walk-off 3-run home run last night against the Astros,
Hmm.
who
Yeah, Astros
who
seem to be a
won
little something
today.
too.
Yep, the Astros did beat us 9-2 because they were angry, and
Oh yeah,
Eduardo Rodriguez is already still yes shown that he's already a bit washed up past his prime. Although he's shown some flashes, still some left in the tank. Um,
yes,
but the this Houston Astros offense is still pretty high octane power,
yes, very
whether you like them
octane.
or not. Especially under Dusty
Exactly.
Baker.
Well, He is a great manager. He produces winning teams, so I'll give him credit for that. Doesn't mean I like Houston though.
Yep. Want to say hi to Walter Strong, who said hi to us. Hey, Walter.
Thanks, Walter.
All right, so now it's time for your True Sports Report. Go ahead.
All right, I'm gonna start things off a little different because I'm gonna start with the games that have the fewest games. Here we're gonna start with the Little League World Series. We're coming down to the final game of the championship series, and it's going to be the West taking on the Caribbean in tomorrow's final. The West beat the Southwest today 6-1, and the Caribbean beat the Asia Pacific 2-0. So both of those teams will meet tomorrow in the final. The West and the Caribbean. It should be a good one though. So we'll keep an eye on that. So now we'll go to WNBA because there's only 2 games on the calendar here for that. So we'll just take care of that. As the Mystics beat the Aces 70-62, very surprising because the Aces have won 30 games this year, and yet the Mystics, who are pathetic 16-18, beat them. Amazing. Liberty not too shabby this year at 27-7, beat up on the Lynx 111-76. I guess their Lynx were missing pretty much. Oh dear. Yeah, I'll explain that joke later. For tomorrow's schedule, got a full day on the beginning calendar as the LA Sparks will take on the Connecticut Sun at 1 o'clock. The Atlanta Dream take on the Indiana Fever at 4 o'clock. At 6 o'clock, the Dallas Wings take on the Phoenix Mercury, and at 8 o'clock, the Chicago Sky take on the Seattle Storm, who are in a midst of trouble this year, as you know they've been dominant in recent years and are only 10-24 this year, and the Sky not much better at 13-21. Wow, that is ugly. All right, now on to the big sports of the day. All right, we'll start off with the NFL preseason. Most of the games are wrapping up. Right now, my Cowboys are up on the Raiders 31-16, 2:54 left in the fourth quarter. Ryder has 272 passing yards and 2 touchdowns. Greer, I should say. Greer also has 56 rushing yards on 7 carries and 2 touchdowns. And Wilkerson has 122 receiving yards. Just a minute to go in the half. The second quarter, the Broncos are beating up on the Rams 27-0. Stidman has 242 passing yards, 1 touchdown. McLaughlin has 48 rushing yards and 1 touchdown on 10 carries. And Johnson has 58 receiving yards. Bills over the Bears, 24-21. My brother is not happy. Allen has 162 yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Evans has 65 rushing yards on 9 carries and 1 touchdown. And Carlson has 41 receiving yards. Packers over the Seahawks, 19-15. Locke had 150 passing yards and 1 touchdown. Wilson had 48 receiving yards on 17 carries, and Winston Jr. 74 receiving yards. It was a close one, but the Chiefs pulled it out 33-32 over the Browns. Gabbard had 169 passing yards, 2 touchdowns with an interception. Prince had 45 rushing yards on 12 carries, and Smith Marset had 101 receiving yards and 1 touchdown. This is a close one here as the Cardinals edged out weekend over the Vikings 18-17. As Hall had 178 passing yards, 1 interception, 1 touchdown. Clement 79 rushing yards on 14 carries, and Frohale 45 receiving yards. In the MetLife Snoopy Bowl, aka the Jets and Giants, the Jets over the Giants 32-24. DeVito had 210 passing yards, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. Robinson 55 yards on 10 carries, and Silva Stills 81 receiving yards, 1 touchdown on 6 receptions. Commanders over the Bengals 21-19. Foreman had 144 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Rodriguez Jr. had 52 rushing yards on 7 carries, and Tinsley had 89 receiving yards and a touchdown. Bucks over the Ravens, 26-20. As Trask had 192 passing yards, Wright 89 rushing yards on 12 carries and a touchdown, and Divis Jr. 88 receiving yards. And the Jaguars over the Dolphins. These are last night's. Still tonight. Jaguars over the Dolphins. 31-18. Thompson had 135 passing yards, 2 touchdowns. Ahmad 43 yards and 4 carries, and Jones had 74 receiving yards and a touchdown. If you want Thursday's games, I got them for you too. Steelers over the Falcons 24-zip. Woodside 196 passing yards. McFarland Jr. 55 rushing yards, 1 touchdown, 10 carries, and Harris had 71 receiving yards. And the Colts over the Eagles 27-13. McKee had 158 passing yards. Richardson had 38 rushing yards, and Kane had 62 receiving yards. As we mentioned, the Lions over the Panthers 26-17 last night. Bridgewater 178 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Brown 51 yards, 1 touchdown on 13 carries, and Green had 97 receiving yards and a touchdown. The Titans over the Patriots 23-7. Mills had 211 passing yards, 2 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Patrick had 78 rushing yards on 15 carries. Dowell had 48 receiving yards. And finally, the Chargers over the 49ers 23-12. Sam Darnold, 89 passing yards, 1 touchdown. Kelly, 78 rushing yards on 2 carries, 1 touchdown. And Ayuk, 35 receiving yards. And tomorrow, the Texans take on the Saints. And I think that wraps up the preseason schedule. Okay, so I'll be looking forward to that. And that game was on Fox. Good. That's even good for me. All right. So now we'll go to we'll go to the baseball scores now. It's top of the 9th, and the Reds and D-backs are tied at 4 apiece. McAfee is at bat. De La Cruz is pitching, and De La Cruz is at bat. 2 out, runner on third. Hey, this could be interesting, folks. The Blue Jays over the Guardians 8-3. Rue got the win. Allen got the loss. Braves over the Giants 7-3. Freed got the win. Messina got the loss. Mariners beat up on the Royals 15-2. What else is new? Gilbert had the win, and Lyles got the loss. Red Sox over Dodgers 5-8, 8-5. Wow. Bernardino got the win. Urias got the loss, and Schreiber got the save. Red Sox are hanging in there. Still. Rays beat the Yankees 3-0. Oh boy. Glasnow got the win. Schmidt got the loss, and Fairbanks got the save. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised with Glasnow pitching. I wasn't surprised. Nationals over the Marlins 3-2. Weems got the win. Robertson got the loss, and Finnegan got the save. As we mentioned, the Astros over the Tigers 9-2. Brown got the win, and Erod got the loss. Orioles over the Rockies 5-4. Bradish got the win. Flexen got the loss, and Kano got the save. Angels over the Mets 5-3. Loop got the win. Canseco got the loss, and Estevez got the save. And I know people are going to not be happy about that one. White Sox over A's 6-2. Torreson got the win, and Sears got the loss. The Brewers over the Padres 5-4. Portela got the win. Alvia got the loss, and Williams got the save. Phillies clobber the Cardinals 12-1. Wheeler got the win. Hudson got the loss. Rangers over Twins 6-2. Burke got the win. Jacks got the loss. And finally, Cubs over the Pirates 10-6. Wicks got the win. Beto got the loss, and SLA got the save. Okay, so now we'll go to the standings as they become more important now, and do they ever? In the American League East, the Orioles are 81-48, have a 3-game lead over the Rays at 79-52. The Blue Jays are 71-59, 10.5 back. The Red Sox 69-61, 12.5 back, and the Yankees 62-67, 19 back. This is not the Yankees that we have come to know. To the Comedy Central of the AL, the Twins, the only team above 500 in the division, yes, 67-63. The Guardians 61-69, 6 back. The Tigers 59-70, 7.5 back. The White Sox 51-79, 16 back, and the Royals bring up the rear at 41-90, 26.5 back. Yeesh. To the West, we got a good one here, folks. Listen to this. Whoa, we really got a good one here now. The Rangers are 73-58, 56, as well as the Mariners, and the Astros are a game back at 73-58. This is good. The Angels hanging on by a thread at 63-67, 10 back, and we have our first eliminated team of the season. As no surprise, the A's, pathetic as they are, at 38-92, 35.5 back, and it has now been officially eliminated. Oh, what a surprise! Royals should be next. Okay, to the National League. The Braves, 84-44, have a 13.5 game lead over the Phillies at 71-58. The Marlins, 65-65, 20 back, hanging by a thread. The Nationals, 61-69, 24.5 back. Uh-oh. Mets fans, you're going to hate this. They're 59-71, 26 games out, and are now in last place in the NL East. Oh, boy. I have friends of mine who are Mets fans. They are not happy. Okay, to the Central. The Brewers, 72-57. 4-game lead over the Cubs at 68-61. The Reds, 67-63. 5.5 back. The Pirates, 58-72. 14.5 back. Kind of disappointing. And the Cardinals, a big disappointment at 56-74. 16.5 back. After starting out, they're a disappointing team this season. And the Pirates turned into a disappointment after starting out so well in April. To the West, the Dodgers, 79-49, 11.5 ahead of the D-backs at 68-61. The Giants, 66-63, 13.5 back. The Padres, 61-69, 19 back. And the Rockies, 48-81, 31.5 back. Or as I would call it, a Rocky Mountain low. Oof. All right, so continuing now with the schedule for tomorrow. And it goes like this. Starting at 12:05, the Angels take on the Yankees. That game was on Peacock, by the way. But I got my ways, I can see it. So I'm not out of luck just yet. The Rockies take on the Orioles at 1:35. Also 1:35 are the Dodgers taking on the Red Sox. The Cardinals taking on the Phillies. The Cubs taking on the Pirates, 1:37. The Guardians take on the Blue Jays, 1:40. Astros take on your Tigers, also 1:40. The Dodgers take on the Mets at 12:05. Excuse me, that's the Peacock game. The Yankees take on the Rays at 1:40. Also, the Nationals take on the Marlins at that time. Your 2:10 games are the A's and White Sox, the Padres and the Brewers, the Rangers and the Twins. 4:10, Reds and D-backs. Then the Royals and the Mariners. And at 7 o'clock, the Braves taking on the Giants. All right. Oh, we do have some Yeah, we had some college football action today, as it's the official start of the college football season, thank goodness. So we're going to run it down this way. There is a game just ending. Jackson State over South Carolina State, big way, 37-7. No big surprise there. Only two games though in top 25 action today, as Notre Dame just beat up on Navy 42-3. Hardman had 251 yards and 4 touchdowns. Estamine had 95 rushing yards on 16 carries and 1 touchdown, and Greenhouse had 68 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. Now at 12:28 in the fourth quarter, number 6 USC is beating up on San Jose State 49-21. Williams has 278 passing yards, 4 touchdowns. Jones has 54 rushing yards with 2 touchdowns on 6 carries, and Nash has 85 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns. All right, so now on to the news items of the day. And it goes like this. As soon as I clear up some of this junk over here from other ridiculous sites. All right, so here we go. Starting with this. One of NASCAR's best racers, Kurt Busch, who was the NASCAR champion in 2014, announced his retirement earlier today. He held back tears as of making the announcement on the same stage where he won the 2017 Daytona 500. He simply puts it, "My body is having a tough time battling with father time." Well, you are 45 years old, so that makes sense. And is struggling with arthritis and gout while trying to recover from a near-impact collision that rattled his brain. Oh boy. To continue on, "I am happy and complacent. There is nothing I look back on and regret about having the opportunity to play at the top level of NASCAR." Younger brother Kyle sat at the back of the media center as the announcement was being made. NASCAR executives Jim France, Ben Kennedy, and Steve O'Donnell and Mike Helton were also on hand, along with Bubba Wallace and Tyler Reddick. Busch suffered a major concussion last summer at the Pocono Raceway after slamming into a wall backwards. The front of his Toyota smacked in at G-force that raised new concern for next-gen racers. Busch won 34 races in 773 starts over a career that spanned 23 years and calls it a career at age 45. All right. Restricted free agent forward P.J. Washington has agreed to stay with the Hornets with a new 3-year deal worth $48 million. Lift management agent Kevin Bradbury and Paul Washington Sports Group told ESPN today. Washington was the last unrestricted free agent signed this summer. The agreement avoids a second Hornets player signing a qualifying offer and becoming an unrestricted free agent in 2025, something Miles Bridges did last month. Well, we can't do it now, can't we? Washington averaged 15.7 points per game last season, along with 2.03 pointers and 1 block per game. Washington was selected 12th in the 2019 draft out of Kentucky and started 73 games last season. By far, this was Washington's best season. His best performance was scoring a 43-point game against the Thunder. USC freshman Bronny James, a.k.a. LeBron's boy, is expected to return to the court soon after suffering a cardiac arrest last month during a workout, according to a family spokesman. The likely cause was due to a heart defect that was identified after an evaluation at Cedars Medical Center in Los Angeles by a follow-up at the Mayo Clinic in Morristown, New Jersey, which is not far from where I live. A congenital heart defect is a broad term for any abnormality of heart structure that results with the heart or blood vessels. Neither heart does not develop normally before birth. It's a condition, though, that can't be treated, said the spokesperson, the family stated. Further updates will become available at a later date. Ronnie was discharged from Cedars Medical Center on July 24th, 3 days after he went into the cardiac arrest. The second cardiac arrest we had this year in the sports world. The USA began their quest to become FIBA basketball champions as they beat up on New Zealand today 99-72 thanks to a strong performance by Austin Reeves. His all-around production, spirit, and poise were a huge difference maker, and he and a few of the bench players pulled Team USA to some early mishaps in the game that would have been a building block. That would had to be a building block if Team USA wants to keep its status as the favorite to win the tournament. Reeves finished with 12 points and 6 assists and 3 steals. However, those numbers don't actually portray his impact. This one did at plus 19. This was his plus minus, as his effect of the flow of the game was profound. The sellout crowd, the Mall of Asia, was delighted exploding with glee as the man with the ice in his veins poise made a three-pointer. Bench teammates Tyrese Haliburton and Pablo Banchero deserve praise as well. Banchero made his first 6 shots, ended up with 21 points. Haliburton finished with 10 points. Both saved a lackluster performance from the starters. Team USA's routine was out of sync. They came out on the floor to warm up, and instead of getting into a routine, they had to watch a pregame dance ceremony, pose a team photo, and watch New Zealand perform their opening dance number. Oh boy. The U.S. Was briefed that all this would be happening as part of the first game formalities, but was not clear that would come out during their warm-up period. The New Zealand squad was out long before the U.S. got on the field and got to a fast start with a 10-point lead, as the U.S. had 5 misses and 4 turnovers on their first 11 possessions. Anthony Edwards was shaky at first as he committed 4 turnovers in just the first half. Team USA was bothered in the beginning by New Zealand's aggressive style that caught the U.S. off guard. New Zealand did commit a lot of fouls, made frequent substitutions, and made a lot of three-pointers, which have been their style for some time now. The 4 of the 5 starters, minus Bridges, were out, that were replaced as they were searching for someone with poise. That's when Reeves and Haliburton entered into the game, and just like last week, when their playmaking and energy against Germany came back from trailing as much as 16 down. Edwards, who had trouble with his footing earlier, regained it and was able to get to the foul line and finished with 14 points. And center Jaren Jackson finished with 12 points. Ruben Tierney was the high man for New Zealand with 15 points. And now the next up for the U.S. will be Greece on Monday, and we'll of course need more steady play from their front line. And by of course the head coach of the U.S. team is, and the head coach for the U.S. team is Steve Kerr. Kerr did the right thing by taking those starters out
today, being the Netherlands. Says Walter
Miami
Strong.
Miami manager Gerardo Montero said that Lionel Messi's availability for tomorrow's game was up in the air, but that is not true because he did play in tonight's game. Miami was in New York to prepare for tonight's game against the Red Bulls, as there's their 7th game in 23 days. At the time of this report, they were making further assessments for training last night. And it was inevitable that we would have a spot for him at some point. But obviously, that was changed as they did play tonight, and Messi scored another goal. That's, I think, his 11th or 12th goal since coming to Miami. My goodness.
Top of the 10th, the Reds just took a 5-4 lead.
All right. Will it hold? We'll see.
Yep.
And day 1 of the FIBA World Cup got away yesterday, and the Philippines set a record for the largest crowd of 38,000 plus on hand. The match between the home team, the Philippines taking on the Dominican Republic, easy setting the mark for a World Cup game. Setting the mark was one of the Philippines' stated goals for some time, and a country whose love of basketball made it happen. Yeah, no kidding. However, the Dominican Republic spoiled the party as they beat the home crowd 87-81. Jordan Clarkson scored 28 points for the Philippines, while Karl Anthony Towns scored 26 points for the Dominican Republic in the first game in group play. This topped the previous record of 32,616 when the U.S. beat Russia 137 to 91 in Toronto on August 14th of 1994, which was the same day that the baseball strike occurred. Isn't that interesting? As a matter of, yeah, it's strange but true. Wow. All right, continuing on. Buck star Jan, the Greek Freak, says he does not plan to sign a contract extension when he becomes eligible next month, and won't sign a deal until he's comfortable knowing the
6-4.
organization will continue to compete for another championship. Maybe. In an interview with the New York Times, a very well-respected publication, published on Thursday, said that the two-time MVP said the numbers don't make much sense, and the organization still had something to prove before he potentially signs an extension next summer. Next summer, it would make sense for both parties. Even then, I don't know, the Greek Freak said in an interview. I would not be at the best version of myself. I don't know everyone's on the same page. Everyone is going to sacrifice time from their families like I do, and I don't feel like I'm signing. Giannis is in the third year of his 5-year, $220 million Supermax extension that includes a player option for 2024-2025. The Bucks can offer Giannis a 3-year, $173 million extension beginning on September 22nd, but Giannis outlined the factors and will go into decision-making before he decides to sign. The Bucks are coming off a disappointing first-round exit in the playoffs to Miami, despite entering the playoffs as the top seed in the East. And if Giannis wasn't injured, they may would have won that round. I'm not saying they were going to, but they could have. I don't know how many wrestling fans are out there for this broadcast, but we have some sad news to report as former WWE champ Bray Wyatt passed away on Thursday at the age of 36. The announcement was made on social media by wrestling star Triple H. Wyatt was known for having one of the most creative minds that pushed boundaries with innovative characters. Wyatt's real name, who is Winman Rotunda, had been inactive over the past several months because of a health issue. He had been with the WWE since 2009, but took time away in 2021 after he was surprisingly released, but returned last September with much fanfare and an unusual storyline that boosted television ratings. Rotunda came from a wrestling family. His father, Mike, alias Iron R. Shyster, as well as other promotions under his real name, Michael Wall Street. Rotunda's uncle Barry Windham was one of the most prestigious Four Horsemen group. Oh, I remember that easily. His brother Taylor, who also is in WWE and goes by the name of Bo Dallas. Rotunda is survived by his wife JoJo, who was a ring announcer, JoJo Offerman, and 4 children, 2 from JoJo and 2 from a previous marriage. He was only 36 years old. What a shame. The Oilers re-signed free agent defenseman Evan Bouchard to a 2-year, $7.8 million deal on Thursday. He will account for $3.8 million against the cap over the next 2 seasons. Bouchard was one of the few remaining restricted free agents without a contract late in the offseason. He had 8 goals and 32 assists in 82 games for the Oilers last season, and had 4 goals and 13 assists in the playoffs. His 17 points were the most by a defenseman in the playoffs, despite the Oilers losing in the second round. He was selected 10th in the 2018 draft and produced 23 goals and 66 assists in 184 regular season games. His new contract begins immediately and expires at the end of the 2024-25 season, where he would become a restricted free agent. The Lakers will unveil a statue of Kobe Bryant on February 8th. The Lakers announced it back on Thursday. His wife Vanessa made the announcement on social media on Mamba Day. That's a reference to his numbers 8 and 24 jerseys during his playing days. The statue date also ties to Bryant's daughter Gianna into the ceremony as she wore number 2. Both Kobe and Gianna were both killed along with 7 others in a helicopter crash in Caballos, California in January 2020 after coming back from a tournament. Vanessa in the video said she was honored that the statue will be in the center of LA in the place of the house that Kobe built. Bryant will become the 7th member of the Lakers organization to have a statue outside the crypto arena. The others are Elgin Baylor, Shaq, Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Magic Johnson, Jerry West, and Lakers longtime play-by-play man Chick Hearn. He joins lists of other athletes with statues outside the crypto arena. Former Kings teammates Wayne
7-4.
Gretzky and Luke. Wow. Wayne Gretzky and Luke Robitaille, and boxing great Oscar De La Hoya, aka the Golden Boy. The ceremony will be held outside the arena in the first of a series of tributes to honor Bryant's legacy set by the Lakers. And that was my feel-good story of the week. Okay.
Still nobody out.
Wow. Moving right along
Seattle
here.
and Texas are tied for first place in the AL West. Oh my goodness.
Ashton Matthews is not going anywhere. The Maple Leaf center signed a 4-year, $53 million deal, carrying him through the 27-28 season. At $13.25 million per year, Matthews becomes the highest-paid player in terms of annual value, surpassing Nathan McKinnon's $12.6 million on his 8-year deal with the Colorado Avalanche. Matthews was drafted first overall in 2016. He is a 2-time Rocket Richard winner. In 2020 and 21, he was the league's top scorer and had 290 goals, 542 points in 481 regular season games. His best season was in 2021-2022, where he scored 60 goals with 106 points in 73 games, and both earned the Hart Trophy and Ted Lindsay Award for the most valuable player. Right. The Rangers re-signed Alexis Lafreniere, the young winger, to a 2-year deal worth $4.65 million. Lafreniere will count for only $2.3 million against the cap in each of the next 2 seasons as part of the deal that was completed back on Wednesday. The native from Quebec was selected first in 2020 and has 100 points in his career after making his debut in 2021. The NBA is filing a grievance disputing the league's $100,000 fine for James Harden for his comments made earlier this month expressing displeasure after the Sixers failed to trade him. What else is new? We respectfully disagree with the league's decision to discipline Harden for his recent comments he made, which we believe was to not violate the rule against public trade demands, the Players Association said in a statement back on Wednesday. We intend to file a grievance, have the matter heard by an arbitrator. Earlier this week, the league announced the decision to fine Harden in the wake of an investigation into comments Harden made during a promotional tour while in China last week, and called the Sixers president Daryl Morey a liar and does not want any part of an organization he is involved with. Oh boy. Or as we used to say, liar, liar, pants on fire. Okay, the Clippers will play their preseason opener at the University of Hawaii against the Jazz on October 8th. All proceeds from the game will go to benefit the Hawaii Community Foundation to benefit wildfire relief. The Clippers will spend training camp in Hawaii starting October 3rd, and during the week leading up to the game, the Clippers Foundation and Hawaii Tourism will assist wildfire recovery efforts and renovate a local school. This will be the Clippers' 4th trip to Hawaii since 2017 as they travel Hawaii for the preseason. Nice effort, though. I like that. Now moving right along. Okay,
Diamondbacks finally get the first 2 outs.
Oh wow! Finally. Yeah. Moving on. Okay, the Lightning have signed for Brandon Hagel to an 8-year, $52 million deal. Vice President General Manager Julian Rebos had announced the deal back on Tuesday. Hagel will account for $6.5 million towards the cap annually when the new contract kicks in a year from now. He had 64 points in 81 games last season, which was his first full season with the Lightning since he was acquired in a trade with the Blackhawks before the 2022 trade deadline. The Lightning won back-to-back titles in 2020 and 2021, are aiming to keep their championship window open for many years to come, and the signing of Hagel is an important part of that quest. Hagel was drafted in the 6th round of 2016 by the Sabres. He has 143 points in 244 games. That's regular and postseason. Wow. 6th round. But hey, later draft rounds could be good as well. And NHL goaltender Jonathan Riener decided to retire after playing 14 seasons in the league. He played on 6 different teams and did win a Stanley Cup. He announced his retirement on social media on Tuesday, thanking the organization for the opportunity and the support. On Tuesday, right? Biener played in more than 400 regular season and playoff games since making his debut in 2007 and won a Stanley Cup for the LA Kings in 2012 as they beat the New Jersey Devils. Yeah, I saw that. Yuck. After that, he wanted the Maple Leafs and elsewhere. A hip injury halted his career 4 years ago. Raider has not played since December 2021 when he was with the Devils, where he signed a 3-year, $8.2 million deal 3 months before that. He was selected 11th overall in 2006 by the Kings. His longest sustained role as the number one goaltender was with Toronto from 2013 to 2016. Also played for the Ducks, your Red Wings, and the Avalanche. And Brenner has 165 career victories to his credit. Not too shabby. What do you say so myself? Mm-hmm. And Novak Djokovic came with that match point to beat the top seed in the Cincinnati Northern and Southern Open last week. That's the tune before the U.S. Open. The Joker collapsed on his back before ripping off his shirt and triumphing win in the nearly 4-hour match in the tournament for the 3rd time to avenge his loss to Alcaraz at Wimbledon, the boy wonder. The Joker, who has 23 singles titles, said it was the most exciting match he's ever played, as saying at the post-match trophy presentation. As temps were around 90 degrees, Djokovic survived the longest match of his career in the tournament since 1990 and was the oldest player to win the tournament. Mm-hmm. Yep. And the U.S. Open starts on Monday in New York, which is also the last major of the year. All right. Oilers All-Star Felix Bautista was placed on the 15-day injured list today, and who can only hope that his ailing shoulder will not sideline him for the rest of the season. There is early indications that there is some degree of damage to his UCL, said by Oilers general manager Mike Ellis. We have not firmed a timetable or anything of that nature yet. Although a UCL injury could lead to Tommy John surgery, Ellis expresses hope that the closer will return to help the AL East leader secure a playoff spot and perhaps provide aid in the playoffs as well. The injury occurred last night's win over the Rockies. He struck out the first 2 batters in the 9th, then had a 2-2 count on Miguel Toliga before the right-hander walked off the mound after his 12th pitch. Bautista left the field after being checked by team trainers. Ellis believes that the injury occurred on the last pitch and was not the result of throwing in discomfort. All right, I'll believe that. All right, we have a tragic story to mention here. This is in 2 parts, actually. And it starts like this. Um, Coming out of Oklahoma, 4 people were shot
7-5.
during a high school football game last night, where a police officer fired a weapon said by authorities. Officers responded to report a shooting around 10:30 p.m. local time between Chautauqua and Del City High School, said by Police Chief Kelly Marshall. The victims were transported to a nearby hospital and were treated for gunshot wounds. One person was treated for a wound to her thigh before being released. I'll have more on that in a little bit. Marshall did not know right away the conditions of the other 3 victims. That was last night. Other than the victims, Marshall said one person was treated for the possibility of a broken leg. At least one of the victims was a student, but the ages of the victims were not known at the onset of the investigation. The police gave a description of a male suspect who fled the scene but was not in custody last night. And there's another update with that, as the 16-year-old suspect actually passed away after the police fired the shots. 2 people were injured as they fled the scene. The 16-year-old died of his wound they suffered in shooting during the third quarter of the game last night. That according to a statement made by the police chief, Kelly Marshall. The boy was not a student at either school, according to Marshall, who did not release the names of the victims. Marshall did not announce any arrests, but a person of interest was being sought. It was reported that there was an argument between 2 men is what led to the shooting. 2 guns, and 8 rounds of ammo were recovered at the scene. Marshall said a 42-year-old man was hospitalized in stable condition after receiving a wound to the chest, and the young woman was released after being injured in her thigh. Marshall said the other 2 women got broken bones as they fled the scene. Just an awful tragedy. A high school football game, for crying out loud. Ugh. Just awful. The Niners are moving on from quarterback Trey Lance after a 2.5-year run. The Niners agreed to send Lance to the Cowboys in exchange for a 4th-round draft choice last night. It was confirmed by Coach Kyle Shanahan and General Manager John Lynch. The 49ers will not pick up any of Lance's salary as part of the trade. Too bad. The deal ends a wild 48-hour ride as Lance was informed that Sam Darnold had beaten him out for the number 2 quarterback behind Brock Purdy. Oh boy. Lance requested a trade. Lance requested a trade. Did not attend practice on Wednesday and returned to the team facility on Thursday. It ended a once promising union between a team that had advanced to the NFC title game in 3 of the last 4 seasons, a young signal caller as they entered the franchise 2-decade search for a quarterback with more stability. The exit of Lance comes 2 days after being informed that Darnold would be the number 2 starter, as long as he didn't see any ghosts during the game. I'm sorry. I had to throw that in. Oh boy. Just a joke, folks. Okay. Cardinals third baseman Nolan Arenado left last night's game against the Phillies in the 7th inning, which was described as back tightness. He is listed as day-to-day, so it shouldn't be too long before he comes back. He has been battling with this issue for weeks now, yet he refuses to come out of the game or out of the lineup, said manager Avra Marble. So I guess he's playing through the pain. It started to lock up a bit.
E4,
and I didn't want to
6.
Ooh. And he did not want to push through it. Ariendo was 0 for 3 in the game. He committed an error. Softball hit by Trey Turner in the 5th inning and was not able to get Garrett Stubbs' blooper double that scored 2 runs for the Phillies. Ariendo has 26 home runs on the year for the Cardinals, 87 RBIs, and 52 extra base hits. He was replaced by Nolan Gorman, who just returned from the injured list with a low back strain. Unfortunately, the Cardinals are playing like death this season. Ugh. Well, you get the idea. Rams receiver Cooper Kupp said Thursday that it looks to be ready for the season as they take on the Seahawks in the opener. Coop said he'd be ready after a joint practice with the Broncos when asked if he feels on pace to be ready for the opener in 2 weeks. That remains to be seen. Coop was signed with a hamstring injury on August 1st, but did return to practice this week. I felt the first 2 days coming back earlier this week just felt like you were rushing things. Coop said you feel like your hands and feet are not working together. It might seem like the patterns on the defense uh, make you feel behind the snap mentally, and you don't want to be in that position. You want to be ahead of it so you can play fast. Coop does not plan to be playing in today's game against the Broncos, their final preseason game for both teams. Opening day is 12 days away, folks.
Yeah.
Okay. Shohei Ohtani's elbow was fine until he tore his UCL on Wednesday with a 94 miles per hour fastball from Christian Encarnacion's stand, according to manager Phil Nevin. Ohtani returned to the lineup on Friday in the DH spot against the Mets just 2 days after the injury, ending his season as a pitcher and clouded his future months before becoming a free agent. He hit a double down right field off Cody Senga with a 2-run third inning. Ohtani also walked 3 times and grounded out in the win over the Mets. He received cheers from the crowd as he walked to the plate in the first inning and tipped his cap twice in response. Mets manager Uncle Buck Showalter was booed by the fans for issuing an intentional walk with runners on the corners in the ninth with 2 outs.
A
I don't know if
sac
this
fly
was a
ties it
smart
at
move.
7.
Oh no. Ohtani had not spoken to the media since the injury and remains unclear if he needs his second Tommy John surgery. That's ugly. The Angels have plans to seek a second option before he makes the decision. Ohtani, as a pitcher, was 10-5 this year with a 3.14 ERA in 23 starts, with 162 strikeouts and 132 innings. That also leads the league in home runs with 44 and 91 RBIs. Ohtani was injured with the 26th pitch of his outing. That was his 2008th of the season, 6,824 since Tommy John surgery, and 7,677 of his major league career. Wow. So he's done as a pitcher, but he will still continue to bat. Padres reliever Robert Suarez was given a 10-day suspension by the MLB for using a banned substance, or as we call it, sticky stuff. The penalty was issued by MLB Senior Vice President of Operations for on-the-field operations, Michael Hill. Suarez was the 6th player this year to be given a suspension for using such illegal substances. His appeal to the case, he appealed his case to John Michael Jr., a special assistant to Commissioner Rob Manfred. Any suspension would be delayed while the appeal is pending. Oh boy. Suarez was suspended on Wednesday for having the sticky stuff on his arm and wrist before he threw a pitch in the 8th inning against the Marlins. Naturally, Suarez denied using any banned substance and said he was only using sunscreen because it was a day game. Right, sure. Adam Jones will retire as a member of the Orioles prior to game against the Rays on September 15th. The Orioles made the announcement yesterday. Jones spent 11 of 14 seasons with the Orioles with a total of 1,781 hits, 263 home runs, 866 RBIs, and played 1,613 games with the Orioles. The 5-time All-Star and 4-time Gold Glove winner last played in the majors in 2019 before playing 2 seasons in Japan. Don't figure that. LSU standout defensive tackle Mason Smith will miss the opening game against Florida State on September 3rd, sources told ESPN on Wednesday. Smith's absence is from a 1-game suspension by the NCAA for receiving improper benefits that coming from the Baton Rouge Advocate that first reported the discipline. Although Smith did cooperate with the investigation, the NCAA ruled that he was not eligible for playing in the opening game, the newspaper reported. Smith, however, will be able to return for their home opener against Grambling the next week. Or is it Grumbling? I forget. The suspension will delay one of the Tigers' best defensive players. Smith suffered a torn ACL last season while celebrating a play in the first half of last year's season opener against Florida State and missed the rest of the season. What a way to go down. Reds first baseman Joey Votto was placed on the 10-day injured list with discomfort in his left shoulder ahead of an important 4-game series against the D-backs, which is going as we speak. Votto did not make a season debut with the Reds until June 19th while rehabbing from his shoulder surgery that he had last August and when he had torn rotator cuff and biceps repaired. It was the first time Votto missed opening day since 2008. Reds manager David Bell said he is hoping the injury will be a short one. Votto left the second game of the doubleheader Wednesday against the Angels after his shoulder became sore and was not able to continue. He returned to lineup on June 19th, playing mostly at first base and was the DH. The 6-time All-Star was batting .200 with 13 home runs. The Reds recalled Nick Senzel from AAA Louisville to take a spot on the roster and hit a home run in Thursday's game despite losing to the D-backs. Good and bad. Okay.
Top 11.
Oh boy. Top 11. This is turning into quite a game, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. More retirement news here as Stefan Strasburg is calling a career after beginning as the number one draft pick and won a World Series title in 2018 for the Nationals. Oh, how the money have fallen from that. Strasburg's decision was first reported by the Washington Post, a very well-respected publication, as I'm sure most of you know. The announcement is expected to be made on September 9th. Strasburg had his career hit by injuries, had made just 8 starts since winning their first and only title back in 2019. He had surgery for a nerve blood disorder that removed a rib and 2 neck muscles before going back on the injured list. Boy. He has thrown for only 528 pitches. He signed a 7-year, $245 million deal in December 2018 and did not report to camp after having another setback. He is a 3-time All-Star, spent his entire career with the Nationals, or then known as the Montreal Expos. Had a 113-62 record with a 3.24 ERA. And with 247 starts and has 1,723 strikeouts. Okay, any Mets fans out there? I think you're going to enjoy this story. Although I'm not one of them. 2 of the Mets' greatest players for the World Series team, Doc Gooden and Darryl Strawberry, will have their numbers 16 and 18 jerseys retired next month, though in separate ceremonies, separate pregame ceremonies, not together. With this, the Mets will have 9 numbers of players and managers retired following the announcement made on Thursday by Uncle Steve Cohen. Cohen bought the team in November of 2020. Both Gooden and Strawberry were key parts to the Mets' 1986 World Championship run, when they had a team record of 108-54 and beat the Red Sox in 7 games in their first title since 1969. Almost didn't happen until a miraculous miracle in Game 6, as Mookie stole a base to tie the game in the 10th inning, and then what looked to be a short out. Guess who back there? And the Mets win it! Oh boy. And setting up for Game 7. After that, the downfall began as both players' careers were derailed due to drug problems. Gooden's career ended after suspended by MLB for 60 days for violating his aftercare drug program. He became a free agent and was suspended for the entire 1995 season for repeated violations of the league's drug policy. Gooden was a 4-time All-Star in 10 seasons with the Mets, winning NL Rookie of the Year in '84 and won the NL Cy Young in 1985. He finished with a 157-85 record with a 3.10 ERA, had 1,875 strikeouts for the Mets. He also played for the Astros, Rays, Indians, as they were called the Indians back then, and the Yankees, where he threw a no-hitter in 1996. I remember that very well. Overall, he was 194 and 112 with a 3.51 ERA and had 2,293 strikeouts. Strawberry, or as we say, Darryl, was an 8-time All-Star, 7 with the Mets from 1983 to 1991. He was 263 with 252 home runs, 703 RBIs, 191 steals. He then left as a free agent and signed with the Dodgers and played there until 1993, then the Giants in 94, and then the Yankees from 95 to 99. He also had 335 home runs, 1,000 RBIs, and 221 stolen bases. The Mets have retired the numbers of Gil Hodges in 1973, wearing number 14, Keith Hernandez in 2022, wore number 17, the Say Hey kid, Willie Mays, in 2022, although he was mostly associated with the Giants, wearing number 24. Mike Piazza in 2016 wore number 31. Jerry Koosman in 2021 wearing number 36. Manager Casey Stengel in 1965 wore number 37. And Tom Seaver in 1988 wearing number 41. In addition, Jackie Robinson's number 42 was retired throughout the league in 1997. Yeah. It was Seaver who won that series, Denver Broncos wide receiver Jerry Jeudy, fourth cousin of Judge Judy, was carted off the field with a right hamstring after pulling up 11-11 drills against the Rams in a joint practice session on Thursday. Head coach Sean Payton said after practice that Jeudy will undergo an MRI. He was running an end around as he pulled up on the right sideline and grabbed his right hamstring. He needed help getting onto the cart. Jeudy was hoping to shake up a poor performance on Tuesday as he had several drops. In their first joint practice ahead of the preseason game tonight. His injury continues a streak of bad luck for Broncos receivers. Tim Patrick tore his left Achilles in camp and will miss his second straight season. K.H. Hamler was diagnosed with a heart condition, but the Broncos hope to have him back when he recovers. And finally, Jalen Virgil suffered a season-ending knee injury at the end of a 50-yard catch in last week's preseason game versus the Niners. How on earth are you going to play without your receivers? I can only imagine how that season is going to turn out to be. Actually, I'm afraid to find out. DeMarcus Ware, the 2023 season keeps getting better as he'll be inducted into the Cowboys Ring of Honor later this season. Owner and GM manager Jerry Jones, or what's his name, surprised Ware with the announcement yesterday after the franchise leader in sacks hosted the Cowboys kickoff event, bringing his daughter Marley to the stage. Just when surprised, Ware opened the winner as he was selected into the Hall of Fame. Ware was a first-round draft pick in 2005 and became the Cowboys' all-time sacks leader with 118 sacks while being named to the Pro Bowl 9 times and first-team All-Pro 4 times and being named to the 2000s All-Decade team. He was released in 2013 due to a salary cap and spent the last 3 seasons of his career with the Broncos, but did win a Super Bowl while he was there. The Cowboys will announce the game in which Ware will be honored, but it will happen before he receives his Hall of Fame ring on November 30th when they take on the Seahawks. Not bad. Okay, moving on here. We got that. Okay. Oh, Nationals right fielder Stone Garrett injured his left leg as he's trying to steal a home run from DJ LeMahieu and was taken on the field on a cart. That was Wednesday against the Yankees. Garrett hurt his lower left leg and was awaiting scans, said Nationals manager Dave Martinez. You don't want to see anyone that hurt, Martinez said after the game. When he went down, I felt like my heart just dropped as he was out on the field wincing and was banged up very badly. I'll say that for sure. Garrett was on the ground for about 6 minutes as athletic trainers from both teams attached to an aircast and his teammates from the Nationals gathered around. Garrett got to his feet and moved onto a cart and was taken off the field and received an ovation. Garrett was still in the clubhouse post game, he was helped to his locker by athletic trainer and his leg wrapped. Garrett made his minor league debut in 2014 and played for Australia and Mexico before making his debut with the D-backs last August. He has 4 home runs and 10 RBIs last season before becoming a free agent and signed with the Nationals. This season, he has 9 home runs, batting .269, and 40 RBIs in 89 games. Still, what a shame. And the Yankees ended their longest losing streak on Wednesday night, more than 40 years, with a 9-1 win over the Nationals. Aaron Judge broke out of his slump, hit 3 home runs, and tie a career 6 best RBIs, and almost single-handedly beat the Nationals on Wednesday night, pretty much. Kyle Hasagawa said he has been weighing this for a long time, and we have nothing to hang our heads over his head. Just 2 hours after general manager Brian Cashman said the season was a lost cause. Judge drove a first-inning curveball from Mackenzie Gore to the opposite field over the Yankees bullpen in right center. Judge opened a 6-0 lead and got his 5th grand slam of his career with a shot over center field in the 7th. Judge combined with DJ Mayhew with back-to-back homers off Jose Ferrer over the right porch just inside the foul pole. Judge is the first player to hit 3 home runs and hit a grand slam since A-Rod did it 18 years ago. Judge has 27 home runs in the year with 54 RBIs in 72 games. The defending AL MVP entered Wednesday's game with a 3 for 19 slide and missed 8 weeks with a toe injury against the Dodgers in June. Manager Aaron Boone said it was a major blow to us. Right now, the Yankees are still in last place, though, in the AL East. So it's not looking good. And there's only about 36 games to play as of now. Yeah. And as I mentioned, Aaron Rodgers did play against the Giants tonight. And it was his first time playing in the preseason since 2019 and did score a touchdown. Congratulations. Bad news for the Jets, though, as wide receiver Corey Davis, who has been away for the team for over a week, personally was stepping down from the game. He announced that back on Wednesday. Davis, a high-priced free agent in 2021, released a statement on his Instagram account saying that he has been considering the decision for quite a while now. He never mentioned the word retirement and never gave us a specific reason for walking away. Well, that's a problem right there. Davis skipped the voluntary workouts of the offseason program and was set to make $10.5 million this season in the final year of his contract. With the additions of Alan Lazard, McCall, Hardman, and Randall Cobb, Davis's role in the offensive was uncertain. For some time now, I've been thinking about stepping away from the game, said Davis. This was not an easy decision, although I'm a deep person. I'm a man of few words. I have been searching in my heart what to do, and I feel like stepping away from the game was the right thing to do. Davis told his teammates weeks ago that he was mulling the decision. Cowboys defensive end Sam Willis was arrested last Sunday after possession of a controlled substance and unlawful possession of carrying a weapon, according to the Frisco, Texas police. The Cowboys arrived back in Texas on Sunday after a preseason loss to the Seahawks last Saturday. Williams was arrested later in the day, practicing in yesterday's practice. Under the league's personal conduct policy, Williams is subject to a fine or suspension for the incident, or maybe even both. The Cowboys are aware of the situation but declined to comment. According to police, the controlled substance charge is for another substance, not for possession of marijuana, and is a state jail felony. The unlawful carrying weapon is a Class A misdemeanor. Williams was involved in the accident not far from the Cowboys facility last December when the car was totaled. A month later, he was cited for misdemeanor reckless driving and was driving the speed of 100 miles per hour, according to the police, and weaving through traffic before the incident. Williams and the driver of the car in the accident were not seriously injured, though he did miss a game as he was placed on concussion protocol. Not very smart if you ask me. All right. And we also have, of course, to mention with the Women's World Cup that ended last Sunday. And oh boy, I got a little bit of an interesting article with that. All right, so we'll go to that right now. As the Spain beat England 1-0 in Sunday's final. It was kind of like a defensive game, but still, I thought it was very entertaining. Olga Karma scored the only goal in the game. She scored late in the semifinal game against Sweden to advance Spain to the championship. Euro champs England were slight favorites heading into the match after having beat Spain in the Euro tournament last year, and the Lions were close to open the scoring early as Lauren Hemp hit the crossbar with a left foot strike from Rachel Daly's pass from 20 yards out. Spain responded with a straightaway from Ambera Rondo, forcing goalkeeper Mary Earps into a critical save 2 minutes later. But after Hemp saw another chance to go, aware with a weak effort from close range, Spain took the lead when they capitalized on Lucy Brown losing the ball in midfield. Spain launched a quick counterattack that saw the ball falling a Morena Candelay layoff, bursting forward down the left. The Real Madrid defender controlled the ball before gunning a left foot strike behind Earps into the far corner to give Spain the game's only goal and their first world title. Now, to add to that, what happened after that, oh boy, ready? It went like this. As the head coach for Spain will be suspended 90 days after what I thought was which is considered a no-no after he actually kissed her. So I'll go on with that. It's almost too weird to believe. Okay, here it is. FIBA has suspended Rubiales from football after an unsolicited kiss. He will be suspended for 90 days following the kiss of Jenny Hermoso after the World Cup final. Despite growing pressure throughout the week, including FIBA opening disciplinary proceedings Thursday, Rubiales refused to resign yesterday, saying the kiss was mutual and with consent. You think so? Hermosa replied in a statement later that day, disputing Rubiales' versions of events, saying that she felt vulnerable and a victim of aggression, an impulsive sexist act which was out of place with no consent on her behalf. FIBA's World Football Governing Body said today the chairman of the FIFA Disciplinary Committee, Jorge Ivan Polenco of Colombia, in use of powers granted by Article 51 of the FIFA Disciplinary Code (FDC), had decided to suspend Mr. Rubiales from all football-related activities at the national and international level. The suspension, which will go into effect as of today, as it has, is for an initial period of 90 days, pending the disciplinary proceedings against Mr. Rubiales on Thursday, August 24th. Sounds a little suspicious to me, but personally, I don't even think that was even enough. I think he should have got more than just 90 days. I think he should have got at least maybe 3 years, maybe even longer. All right, so now we'll just recap the late scores here, starting with MLB. Let's see, that wild
The
game is
Reds
still
just beat the
continuing
Diamondbacks 8-7.
in 11 innings. There we go.
It's over now.
Encarnacion got the win, Marte got the loss, and Benson got the save. That's the last game of the baseball scores this evening. Turn to college football as We're waiting on one final here. Yes, it has now gone final. Number 6 USC doubled up on San Jose State, 56-28. Williams had 278 passing yards and 4 touchdowns. Conte had 72 rushing yards on 5 carries, and Nash had 89 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Okay. I think we have some NFL. Left as we have some late games in the preseason. Tomorrow's the end of it. Thank goodness. As the Broncos are just trashing the Rams right now, 34-0, 8:21 to go in the fourth. Sidham now has 236 yards, 1 touchdown. McLaughlin now has 48 yards and 10 carries, 1 touchdown. And William has 76 yards, 1 touchdown. All the rest have now gone final. I guess it has. Okay, so that'll take care of it for me. I'll turn it back over to you.
All right. That was a good 76 minutes plus of episode
Yeah.
78 of True Sports. We'll be back sometime next week. Ta ta.
Good night, folks.